All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tara Shuey, and I am a level 5 out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I'm just going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself and my journey with Rodan and Fields. So I started my business 9 months ago, actually, 9 months in a few days. Prior to doing this, I was a spa director at a 5-diamond luxury resort in Northeast Florida. I worked at that resort for 10 years and I loved it. I was making pretty good money. Our spa was winning all sorts of awards and earning recognition and tons of national publications. Everything was really good. But I was working lots of long hours, which included nights and weekends and holidays. And I was directly responsible for managing a staff of up to 90 people at a time. So it was a big, big job, and it had a huge effect on my personal life. When I had my son in 2012, my priorities changed really fast. I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to miss a thing, but it just really wasn't in the cards for us at the time for me to stay home. So for the first 2.5 years of my son's life, I worked full-time at the spa, and I was a full-time mommy. And I tried to do the best that I could, and it was really hard. I'm sure a lot of you can understand. In 2014, my husband's job moved us to South Florida. And at the time, we decided that it was going to be best for our family for me to stay home. And I was so pumped. I was finally going to have what I considered to be my dream job. I was going to be able to stay at home. And our second child, our daughter, was born in June of 2015, and everything seemed perfect, except I started to miss having that professional side to myself, which I didn't really think that was going to happen, but I really did miss that professional side of myself, and I really miss having those connections with adults. So I was having those thoughts, but the thought of going back to work, working somewhere for somebody else full time really, truly made me sick to my stomach. So right about this time, Caroline had reached out to me, and after blowing her off for a couple of months, I finally listened to her. And I talked to my husband about it, and we did some research, and we decided that I should just give it a shot. And I haven't looked back since saying yes. This opportunity has allowed me to be a present mom and a present wife, but it's also allowed me to have a career, and it helps me to contribute to our family financially. So I joined in March of 2016. I earned both my Fast Start bonuses within the first 4 months in business. I hit level 5 just shy of my 6-month anniversary. And now I have 25 incredible women on my team who are all building businesses of their own. And I did this by tapping into every single training that I had available to me, tapping into all the resources that were given to us as consultants, being open-minded and coachable, and staying consistent with my business. That's really what is important. So this has really been a true, just a blessing to me. I mean, it's really given me all of that I missed, and now I truly do have the best of both worlds, and I love it. But enough about me. Tonight, I want to share with you some top tips on how to build a successful Rodan and Fields business. I am a huge believer in the fact that you need to be incredibly organized in order to succeed in this business. We market this business as being a business that is flexible, that you can work on your own terms, in the nooks and crannies of your day, around full-time jobs, families, all that. And in order to do this, you have to be organized. The size of your network and the hours you put into this business do not matter if you aren't able to work smart. I am a huge believer in the fact that you can build a very large paycheck by working your business in 15 to 30-minute increments throughout the day. No matter how busy you are, we can all identify 15 to 30-minute increments in which we can work our business. And tonight, I'm going to help you figure out how to do this and how to get organized. So let's get started. So tip number 1, put aside 1 day each week to map out and plan your business activity for the coming week. You ideally want to consider doing this on a Sunday. you will need 60 minutes to effectively plan your week. I'll refer to this throughout the rest of this training as your planning hour. So the 60-minute period of time, we're going to call it your planning hour. During your planning hour, you will want to do the following, which is going to bring me to tip number 2. And tip number 2 is going to be to plan your hours of operation and physically write them down in your planner. So identify those 15 to 30-minute chunks of time where you can work your Rodan and Fields business throughout the day. Look at your schedule and ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice in your personal time for your business? What are you not willing to sacrifice? For me, time with my family, my husband, my kids, time for exercise, volunteering at my son's school, taking my kids on play dates. Those are areas in my life where I was not willing to sacrifice. What I was willing to sacrifice was my TV time during the week and those cat naps that I got used to taking during my daughter's nap time after having a new baby. So I was willing to sacrifice those things. I am lucky that I already am a stay-at-home mom, but that means I always have little people around me at all times. And for those of you that are moms, you know how difficult that makes it to be productive and to get anything done. So I have to make sure that I identify times when I have peace and quiet in my house so I can focus and get some work done. For me, that is before the kids wake up in the morning during nap time, or as my 4-year-old calls it, rest time because he doesn't nap anymore, or after they've gone to bed at night. So I work 30 minutes every morning before they wake up, and I work 30 minutes every afternoon during rest time. For those of you, and yes, I am guilty, I give my son his iPad and put him in his bedroom for 30 minutes, so sorry. But for those of you that are currently working, and working your RNF business and another full-time job, so you've got 2 jobs, I'll fill you in on a tip that Kristen shared with me. She said that when she was working full-time, while doing her Rodan and Fields business, she decided that she was going to get up 30 minutes earlier than usual to work her RNF business. And then she was going to also cut her lunch hour short by 30 minutes. And she was going to spend half of her lunch hour working her Rodan and Fields business. So just by finding these little pockets of free time each day, we are both able to get 1 hour of work done each and every day by adjusting our routines just a little. It's super easy. I think somebody needs to mute their phone. If you've just joined, make sure you mute your phone so it's not echoing. Okay. So, in addition to this and to working these 30-minute pockets throughout the day, we also have identified 2 to 3 nights a week that we can put aside time during the night for our RNF business. So it's all about priorities and what you're willing to sacrifice. By sacrificing a little bit of TV time and a daily nap, I'm able to put in about 10 to 15 hours per week into my Rodan and Fields business. The key is to schedule your hours of operation and write them down on your calendar and make it a priority. Do not schedule over it. So it's really important to put them physically write them in your calendar. And that's going to bring me to tip number 3. So tip number 3, you need to make sure you are spending at least 80% of your time on income-producing activity. Scrolling through Facebook, posting on Facebook, liking your team members' posts, reading through different RNF boards, those are not income-producing activities. Listening to training calls, reading books on your self-development, hosting 3-way calls for other consultants, hosting coaching calls for your team, those are not income-producing activities. These things are important for your business, but they should not be they should not be done during your planning or your hours of operation. They should only be constituting about 20% of your time. So be efficient and do these sorts of do not do these sorts of activities during your hours of operation. The only behaviors that are income producing are activities that drive your paycheck, which is signing preferred customers and signing business partners. With that being said, you need to focus on reaching out and talking to people during your hours of operation. This needs to be your main focus. I listen to training calls. I host 3-way calls, coaching calls for my team when I'm driving, when I'm on a walk with my daughter, if I'm cooking dinner or folding laundry, etc. You get the point. And then I also put aside 20 minutes a day to do all my Facebook stuff. So you can put aside 20 minutes a day to post on Facebook, scroll through Facebook, interact with your prospects, your team members, etc. You can do that sort of thing, like right when you wake up in the morning, right before you go to bed. If you're in the car, the pickup line at school, waiting for your kids to come out. If you're at soccer practice, whatever. You just have to be a good multitasker. The point is, most of your time needs to be spent on income-producing activities, and you need to get the hardest part of your day done first, which are your reach-outs. I personally coach my team to eat the frog. So there's this Mark Twain quote that says, eat the frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. So consider your reach outs the frog, and eat the frog during your hours of operation. So do your reach outs during your hours of operation. Tip number 4, set a goal on how many people you want to reach out to in any given day. So you need to do reach outs every single day. We already know that. Every single day you need to do reach outs. And don't go to sleep at night without reaching that goal. In fact, when you are working your hours of operation for your business, you need to prioritize getting your reach outs done first before moving on to anything else. My goal has been and still is to do to reach out to 10 new people a day. And that's also like following up with people that haven't responded to me and so forth. So I'm trying to make a connection with 10 new people. Tip number 5, create a master list of your entire network and constantly update this list as you meet new people. So one of the most common issues with consultants who are frustrated with where their business is that they have never put together a master list when they started. You need to have a list put together within the first week or so of starting your business. So go through Facebook, go through Instagram, LinkedIn, write down the names of all your contacts. There's a way to export your Facebook contact list to save you some time. And later on tonight or in the morning, I'm going to post a link on the Team Beauty Architects page with directions on how to do that, on how to export your Facebook contacts list. So that will make it a little bit easier for you. After you've gone through your social media contacts, scroll through your phone, write down all the names of every one of your contacts. Open up your address book and write down these contacts. Dig up your wedding invitation list, your holiday card list. If you have a neighborhood directory, write down these names. Go through your husband's contacts. Write down these names. You can use the memory jogger that Rodan & Fields provides for us. You can find that in Pulse. And just keep writing down names. The more names you have on your master list, the bigger your business is going to be, the bigger of a business you will build. Once you have this list created, save it in a place where you can easily access it and update it often. So every time you meet someone new at a barbecue, at a kid's birthday party, at a play date, etc., you need to connect with this person on social media and then add their name to your master list. I'm telling you this now. If you don't have a master list with all your contacts' names on it, you will not be able to get organized and you will not be able to be successful at working this business. So get this done. It's very important to have this list. And this brings me to the next tip, which is number 6. Write down the names of the people you're going to reach out to daily on your calendar. So during your Sunday planning hour, you have already identified and written down your hours of operation. You've mapped that out on your calendar for the week. You've made a goal of how many people you want to reach out to daily, minus 10, and you've made the commitment to spend most of your time on income-producing activity. You've created your master list, so you know the names of everybody you know. And so now what you need to do is you need to physically write down the names of the 10 people or however many people you plan to reach out to daily. You need to write down these names on your calendar, physically write down their names. That way, when you have that 15 to 30-minute chunk of time that you're going to work your business during your hours of operation, you're very productive. You're not wasting time scrolling through Facebook trying to figure out who you're going to reach out to. You already know who you're going to reach out to. You have a plan on, number one, when you are going to work, and number two, who you are going to reach out to. And now you have all these names written down in your calendar, and we're going to take it even like one step further, which is going to bring me to tip number 7. So tip number 7, figure out what you are going to say in your reach outs. Work with your upline to create some go-to verbiage that you can use for reach outs. I recommend coming up with 3 different types of verbiage. So the verbiage you will use, so there's the first one is going to be the verbiage you will use when you are reaching out to reconnect with someone on a personal level that is not related to RNF. So you're just reconnecting. The second verbiage is going to be what you will use when you are reaching out to someone about the business side of things with RNF. And the third verbiage is going to be what you will use when you're reaching out to people on the product side of RNF. And so once you have the skeleton of your verbiage written down, the only thing you will need to do is tweak the first sentence. I always start off the first sentence of my messages with a personal connection with the person I'm writing to and a compliment. I then go on to the skeleton of the message, and I keep my messages short and sweet and true to my personality. I have my verbiage saved in a document on my computer, and I have it in the notes section of my iPhone. And I'm able to personalize my verbiage, and I can send a message typically in less than a minute. So if you have 30 minutes set aside to work your RNF business, you should have no problem to get your 10 to 15 reach outs done. It should be really easy. And so the reason why it's going to be easy for you to do this is because you know exactly when you're going to work. You know exactly who you're going to reach out to during your working hours. You know exactly what you're going to say because you've already planned all this out during your Sunday planning hours. So tonight, if you have time, you should do your Sunday planning hour and get all this done. Tip number 8, come up with a way to track your reach outs so you can stay organized and you are able to follow up with prospects in a timely manner. So I personally have an Excel sheet saved on my computer where I keep track of who I reached out to. I also include what day I reached out to them. I include what I reached out to them about, whether it was the products or the business or it was just to reconnect. I put in there whether they replied or not, what the reply said, when I plan on following up with them, and I record this information every time I reach out to somebody. You don't ever want to drop the ball on following up with somebody just because you're not organized. So make sure you're keeping track of this, and you can put in there that, follow up in 30 days or 2 weeks, or they're not ready, follow up in February, something like that. And you know when to follow up. Tip number 9, make sure you interact with the prospects you are reaching out to on Facebook daily. So you need to like and comment on your prospects' posts and keep in touch with anyone that you are targeting for RNF. So this can be time consuming, but there is a pretty easy way to do this that really takes, you can get this done in just a few minutes each day. There's a way that you can create customized news feeds on Facebook. So I don't know if you guys know that already, but there is a way you can create customized news feeds. You're able to filter out the people that you don't want to see in these customized news feed versus the people's posts that you do want to see. So you can make these feeds where you put exactly whose stuff you want to see. So I'll outline for you like 3 examples of customized news feeds that you can create, which I personally have. So the first one that I have is titled RNF Team. And this one includes my direct business partners and any of the consultants that are on my team that are actively working the business, which most of them are. I also include consultants from other teams that on this list that I want to follow and support. And then when I access this newsfeed, all I see is the RNF consultants and that I've personally added to this group. And then on my regular newsfeed, I can unfollow all of them, so my regular newsfeed isn't boggled down with just RNF post after RNF post after RNF post. And so you start to see like the other people that you're friends with on Facebook. The second news feed that I created is titled Prospects. And so in this one, I've added the name of anyone that I've targeted with RNF, anyone that I want to target with with RNF, anybody that I would like to reconnect with before doing so, and so forth. Anybody that I've sent a mini facial to, things like that. So I go to this news feed daily and I like and comment on these prospects posts. And you just want to make sure that you keep in touch with your prospects and that you're interacting with them and you're building rapport. Because if you're liking and commenting on their posts, they're going to see your posts. But we'll get more into like Facebook and social media in week 4 of our training. So I won't go into that too much. So the third news feed that you want to create is titled Local Prospects. So in this customized news feed, I have added everyone who lives in my current city and that's in my local network, that anybody that I meet when I'm out and about in my area. And this way I can keep track of like what's going on with them locally, if there's anything that I'm missing out on, any place I need to be, like things like that. So those are 3 customized news feeds that you'll want to have. And so once you've created these customized news feeds from your computer, you have to create it from your computer. You can access it from the app on your phone, from the Facebook app on your phone. And you can unfollow any of the RNF consultants that pop up in your main news feed so they aren't clogging it up. Not that we don't want to see you, but we put you in the number 1 news feed, which is the RNF people. So I will also post a link to this, instructions on how to create these customized news feeds on the Team Beauty Architects page. So it'll be how to create customized news feeds, how to edit these news feeds, and how to access them on your phone. So I'll post that on the Team Beauty Architects page later tonight or in the morning. And as you reach out to different prospects daily, make sure you're updating your customized news feed and you're adding them to the appropriate category. So the last tip number 10. So this is really important. It's really important that you plan regular events and you invite your local network. You can pick a reoccurring day or time each month to have a biz op or to have, to do an event at your house or whatever. And make sure you schedule this on your calendar. It's a great idea to team up with another consultant in your area, even if it's not like on your direct team. Team up with another consultant and host a monthly event. That way the pressure doesn't always fall on you to be the only one that has to fill the room. And your prospects will also have the opportunity to hear from different consultants who each have their own unique story. They each have their own unique professional background and their own twist on, what Rodan & Fields has done for them and their lives. What's really important is that you never cancel an event. If you have scheduled an event, never cancel it. I repeat, never cancel your scheduled event. Even if there aren't any prospects who have RSVP'd to your event, show up and hold a training session for your team or the other consultants that show up. Do a training session or do a working power hour, of reach outs for your personal business. So never cancel, always make the best use out of that time. You've already set it aside, you marked it in your calendar, make sure you use it. So those are the top 10 tips on how to get organized and be successful with your Rodan & Fields business. I really appreciate all of you guys attending tonight. I hope you found this information really helpful. Just a reminder for you guys, for next week's training, please come prepared with each of your lists that were discussed in last week's training. You will need 10 people on each of your lists. You need the Dream Team list, your Product Junkie list, your Dirt list, and your Chicken Shit list. And you're going to be having an active training hour where you're going to be sending doing reach outs during the training. So you need to make sure that you have your list ready. We're going to help you with the verbiage and tell you exactly what to say, but you have to come prepared with at least 10 people on each of these lists. And make sure you have your big girl panties on, because this training is so helpful. It's so important. You're going to really, really enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for for attending tonight and listening. It really does make a difference. Tapping into all these training resources, it's made a huge impact on my business. So, all right. Thank you all.